We're not talking about the victims that are still going through the shit right now with other people who are running to cover their ass and deleting their social medias. Pink, Megan Fox, Tyra Banks, Steve Harvey. Why you running?
You know, Allie Carter is not playing around with these celebs since she just came out of hiding after almost getting killed by Diddy's thugs. This time, she is included on the list of well-known individuals who get STDs while taking part in Diddy's freak-offs. These events were reportedly also referred to as Wild King Nights, where Diddy would show off young children he had imported to the country for adults to pet. When Allie was just 15 years old and kidnapped by Diddy, she saw this insanity firsthand. She went so far as to claim that she had been moved by these celebrities' outbursts among themselves. To make matters worse, they have been after her ever since she talked, and she had to go to the federal government to be protected as a witness.
That is ready to free Diddy and be on the side of pedophiles. They keep calling Sean Combs' children, his twin daughter and his other daughter, You with me still? Yes? Okay. They keep calling them kids. The twins and the daughter is kids. They don't need to be in the case because they're kids. Cassie Ventura was not called a child. Everybody tore that woman apart because they saw a pregnant grown woman sitting on that trial telling her story that everybody covered up as she was 19 years old. People are addressing Sean Combs' kids as kids, but they won't address Cassie as a kid when this happened to her. Do you understand what I'm saying? I was 15 years old when I had dealings with Sean Combs. She was 19. You get me? Okay? We're not talking about the other children that were on this case. Now, as you guys are saying, I told you, the justice system is rigged. I don't know how many ways people need to say that, see it for themselves, research it, dig on it, and not understand that the justice system is rigged. And we've been saying that since the beginning. We went through court cases. We went through private investigators. This is how we have the insurance and the documents and the things and the receipts that we have, because we have been through this so many times before, where the victim is the one who gets the most hell and the predators walk.
She was allegedly hauled on the stand as a witness to those freak-offs during Diddy's trial, which coincided with the most recent attempt on her life. While she and her family were out of town, her house was broken into, and her neighbors claimed that the intruders were armed.
You get pressured, attacked, stalked, and hunted down for your own information. You get abused and re-victimized again by people who wanted to argue a back and forth this week like that fucking mattered. Okay, you had Stu Peters and Timothy Charles Homestead going back and forth, and nobody has even bothered. Not that I give a damn, and not that I understand that you guys are gonna be that selfish, but nobody has bothered to apologize for all the hell that has happened. But you guys were arguing back and forth, and in that meantime, we lost our home. You don't believe me? Here you go. What once was a full house, we were still paying rent on our house. What we were doing this whole time was moving everything because our house is gone. Our house is gone. This is the speaking out. What was our beautiful 3-bedroom acre home on 21225 Standing Rock Avenue, because everybody has the address, because organizations that were attached to Marx, Sawyer, and many other organizations decided to put out the address, my license plate to one of my cars, and many other of my So here you go. You can have it, right? Because this is what happens when you speak out. This is what happens when you tell all the truth. This is what happens when you decided to stand up for the children, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to do a seminar, and when you understand that survivors don't just get to just be and then show up somewhere and talk and monetize everything that they're saying. When you realize that that's bullshit, then you will understand. Look at the tactics and pay attention. Pay attention. I'm still not asking you for a damn thing but to wake up. I'm not asking you for a damn thing but just to get outside. I don't give a damn about money, numbers on my platforms. You can have all of it. You took everything. The only thing that I give a shit about right now is the fact that there is a baby in the way. There's babies in the way. There are people that I love that I can't get out of the way. What am I supposed to do when the people in the authority that you're supposed to go to, you can't go to them?
As previously said, they are attacking her in this manner because she has been talking a lot and exposing all parties, which they find offensive. But since she is still on their necks, baby, all of these attempts to end her life are not doing anything. Prior to the most recent attempt on Ali's life, she claimed that Diddy and his evil friends had abducted people's children and forced them to engage in activity with animals while recording and touching themselves. Diddy was also charged with as you may recall, but the FBI did not investigate it very much, since they were more interested in exposing his freak-offs with consenting A than they were in exposing him for Combs relied on employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, S. forced labor, kidnapping, A. bribery, and obstruction of justice. Beginning with Meek Mill and Bryshire Gray, there is a long line of celebrities that were attending these events in a freaked-out manner and ultimately contracted the virus. When it came to this, Jaguar Wright was the first to speak out, and she did not hold back. When Jaguar claimed that Will Smith and Diddy had coerced Meek Mill and Bryshire Gray into a freak-off, it went too far. She even asserted that Will had enticed Bryshire in with the promise of mentorship, only for it to become something he had no interest in. After Will and Jada allegedly toyed with their private parts during one of those freak-offs, Jaguar claimed that things got so terrible that Bryshire and Meek could be heard screaming as they fled Will's residence. However, Meek was apparently turned out more than once. Later, a recording of Meek and Diddy talking was leaked online, and to put it mildly, it was really unsettling. Listen now, everyone. After those rumors about him and Diddy reappeared, and people also brought up the game, so it just keeps growing hotter from here. The game acknowledged that Diddy was taking him across the world, throwing parties, and buying him pricey presents, while he were meant to be locking in the studio to finish their album. And since those trips were constantly going down in Atlanta, the streets could not help but side-eye them, baby. You know if you do.
To that, I started kicking it with Diddy, right? I ran around with Diddy for 2 years, damn near. And this Diddy, we never went to the studio one time, but he was like, yo, I f with your demo, you know, bad boy, but hey, Playboy, hey, here go a watch, Playboy, here go a chain, Playboy. I'm like, yo, we ever gonna rap? This nigga like, nah.
I was doing it for 2 years.
Yo, but the jet leaves at 5. We going to Miami, Playboy. We going to, you know what I'm saying? We going to New York. We in ATL this weekend, Playboy. Pop out. And I was going everywhere with Diddy.
Before you got with Dre, wasn't Puffy interested in working with you also?
Yeah, Puff. I was running around with Puff for a minute, but we was just partying, man. Puff liked to party. So that's basically all we did. I think the few times I was running around with D-Mac and Puff, we just did a bunch of partying. We might have went to the studio once or twice, but I didn't get to record nothing. I was just, you know.
Okay, but I mean, Puffy was a huge deal back then.
Still a huge deal.
I mean, he's still a huge deal, but he's not doing music anymore,
right,
is what I'm saying. Back then, Bad Boy was on fire, and he's running around with you, and you know, Puffy's a busy guy.
I was running around with him.
Yeah. You were running around with him.
Right.
Was he talking about signing you, or what exactly happened?
Nah, Puff he wanted to sign me. He just, you know, he was moving around. Like, he had the restaurant Justin's in Atlanta, so we was in and out of that. A lot of parties in Atlanta with him and V and, you know, Big Wolf and, you know, Fab and Jeezy was just, you know, I mean, Fab was already on. Jeezy was coming, you know, coming of age. But we just party, man. And then when I told Puff.
However, YK Osiris became entangled in this issue as well, so it does not end there. Rumors circulated in 2021 that Diddy had flown him to Jamaica with the intention of advancing his career. However, YK made it appear even more dubious by reposting a picture of Diddy in the pool without a shirt, along with emojis of a praying hand and a picture of himself receiving a massage while naked, listening to Diddy, eating that good fruit in the beautiful weather. Even worse, some began to ask how YK could possibly afford such a trip unless Diddy was paying for it. They pointed out that he was broke at the time, but that he had apparently been dropped from his label and even sold his fancy automobile. Then his baby mom went on Instagram and revealed everything, claiming that she had left him because she had seen him having an affair. Stop asking me what happened with my baby daddy. I caught him with a man. Okay? Not to be overlooked is Usher, of course. Rumors that Diddy gave him herpes when he was 14 years old while he was living at his house for a purported mentorship program have been going around for years. When an email purportedly connected to Kim Porter's book surfaced online, exposing Diddy's gay hookups, film, and even allegations that he gave Usher an STD, the situation became even more chaotic. The email said, some of the things in the book covered Diddy's gay relationships, footage of those encounters, the men he slept with, STDs, Diddy, giving Usher an STD, and the explosive encounter between Diddy and Usher's mom. Then, in 2017, a lady filed a lawsuit against Usher, claiming that he had exposed her to herpes by failing to disclose his 2009 diagnosis. And you are already aware of what people have stated, that Diddy most likely gave it to Usher while he was being touched on. And do you recall that after her home was broken into, she was placed under witness protection? She was supposed to testify against Diddy and all the other celebs he was messing with, but she was removed from the list at the last minute. Ali claimed that the purpose of the entire trial was to humiliate him in public and then ignore it. It was never about justice. She asserts that the federal government had been aware of Diddy's wrongdoing since the early 2000s, but they chose to ignore it until Cassie raised the alarm.
The FBI covered it up for how long? This case was back in 2000, early 2000, right? So let's talk about who's guilty here. The DOJ released a video that at first everybody said they couldn't find a video of Cassie Ventura being. They couldn't find it, it didn't exist. You saw one clip, and then you saw DOJ released another clip to the news. So the DOJ had that clip to begin with. So the people who are telling you that they don't have the Epstein file, they're full of shit. What other way do you want me to explain that? They're lying to you. The ones that are telling you, Pam Bondi, that she only had a little bit, it is bullshit. Bullshit. Because they told you the same thing, and now you're seeing it with the Sean Combs case. They told you they just had a little bit of a video, and then it got released. That's on the DOJ. They lied to you. They told you that nothing happened, that this man, Sean Combs, was just this rap mogul that everybody loved. No, he couldn't have hurt nobody. He couldn't have did anything. And then all this stuff came out. Well, he did that. But yeah, he couldn't have did anything else. And then something else came out. Okay, well, maybe he did that too. But he couldn't have did anything else. And then something else comes out. How many people did you hear say, I left a party early? I knew about abuse. I knew about children being there. I knew about him the hell out of females. I knew about the parties going on with multiple people, so it wasn't just Sean Combs. I knew about all of that, but I left early. So guilty. How many people did you hear say about Cassie Ventura that I knew that she was being I knew that she was wrong. I knew what he was doing, but I'm just now speaking about it. Guilty. Coward. How many maids did it take to clean up a penthouse suite? Know that there was blood and glass everywhere, but they kept their mouth shut because they got paid. Guilty. So we're not talking, let's go back down to the bottom. The hotel manager that you guys never seen his face at first of this hotel, he heard the beat. He heard the screaming. He knew what was going on. He knew that Sean Combs was in there. He knew that he had other girls with him. He knew what was going on. He had the footage. He talked to the security. That hotel manager is who took that footage from the security and said, okay, hand me some money or help me be quiet. I'm going to shut the hell up. You did not hear anything from that hotel manager until now. But they told you, that hotel manager, if you would have went back then, they would have told you, no, we don't know anything. Cover up. Guilty. The security that were on shift that night, that knew about this footage, that knew he dragged her down the hallway, that knew he kicked her in the back and all over the place. The hotel security that knew about that, they looked away. They got paid off. Guilty.
Ali, who had been attempting to recover, claimed she was devastated to learn that Diddy was swerving right by the RICO charges. She was making an effort to get over the trauma, but this case blew up again and pulled her straight back into the turmoil.
I think they're dropping the charges. I was like, I am hurt, I am angry, and I am still healing, and it is harder than hurting. Trust me when I say that. I am trying. I have been in denial for a little bit. I walked away to get clean. I tried to go take my life back. I wanted some type of peace. I wanted to give a damn about somebody saying they love me just because they love me. I didn't want anybody because they wanted me or my body or what they could do to me. I'm nobody's puppet. I'm nobody's toy. I'm nobody's punching bag anymore. And that's all I ever wanted.
Do you hear me?
The extent to which these individuals are willing to go in order to silence her is unsettling, and at this point, Allie only needs to ensure her safety. People had their own opinions as usual, such as this one who stated, "Please don't blame or judge Allie because of her delivery and experience. I am glad she is speaking out as raw as she has been. She is a traumatized trafficking victim. Don't blame Allie if others get triggered. That is not her response." Another person said, "She was a child when this happened to her. And yes, she's all over the place, but she's definitely not lying. Now though, I would like to hear your opinions. How do you feel about Allie revealing the identities of all the famous people that went to these freak-offs? And do you really think that their involvement in that disaster caused them to contract STDs? Please share your opinions in the space provided below, and remember to click here to view this additional messy film.